Hi, my name's David, and right now I'm demonstrating how to plant a tree in a 3-foot by 3-foot hole. It was a recipe given to us by a little old lady many years ago. This hole was dug by a track hoe, and right now I'm going in to make sure that its dimensions are right and put these boards in. I'm using these lopping shears to cut out any roots that might be there, and then I'm using the pickaxe to chip out at the bottom of the hole, because the bottom of the hole is most often going to be clay. And so anyway, I'll show you when I get there. So now I'm in the hole and I have chopped out some of the roots with the finger. This right here is my marker board. Now it's 3 foot wide and it's got markings on here of the order in which you put things in, which we'll get to that. But the key to this is I've got a 3 foot line on this board. And so I know when my hole is right, when I get that 3 foot, when I get this down to that 3 foot line. And that's where the pickaxe comes in at, because you can see my hole is not deep enough. It needs to go down just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a little bit of this stuff out, not much at all. My hole's pretty close actually. And that's another thing, when you're digging it with the backhoe, go a little bit deeper. Don't be measuring 3 foot down and going okay. Go down 3.5 foot or so, because then your sides, where they come up on either side, when you go down, you can just add a little bit of dirt to the bottom. Okay, now I'm making sure that the hole is 3 foot this way, and I've got this 3 foot 2x8, but it don't matter, 2x6, 2x4, it really doesn't matter. And there's my marker that shows where I need to go, which is a pretty nice distance. Now what I'm doing right now, because you have to backfill anyway, is I'm taking this dirt that I'm shoveling out and I'm putting it over here behind there to fill that in as I go. So this will be pretty much full by the time I get this where it needs to be to put the next board in. You know, you can be intimidated by the pickaxe, but when it comes to chipping out the clay and where it's hard at the bottom of the hole, the pickaxe just really just takes care of the problem. Whereas if you're trying to dig this, you're going upstream. You are not digging the clay at the bottom of the hole. And the fact of the matter is, this clay at the bottom of the hole and the ditch itself stops people from doing this method. But if you involve this pickaxe, you will not regret it, and it'll get it done. Okay, something I forgot to mention is, as you're putting this one in and you're measuring, if you'll put some of your backfill, some of your dirt that's right there, back against it and stomp it down, it'll keep it from moving forward while you're putting the dirt behind it that you're scooping out of the hole to get this side right. So anyway, that's side setting. So now I've got the hole in the bottom marking my 3 foot apart. I've got this board across the top, keeping it from coming in on right there. And you can see where my lines are at, marking to there. Okay, so now I'm going to focus on backfilling both sides, not all the way, but about halfway up or so, before I start filling the inside and before I pull that board out. And another thing, like I was telling you, make sure to kick you some dirt on your sides and pack it down on both your sides, so when you pull that bottom board out, it's got a little bit of a stop there. Okay, so I've got the side walls up. I've got this right here going across the top for support. I've backfilled on both sides. I've put these couple of pieces of little thin board just to keep the stuff from avalanching in as I've backfilled. I put this piece of plywood down and the tarp on the back side going underneath it, because this is going to be the mixing table for the mix that we're going to show you how to do and the contents of it. And right now I'm going to use this hoe to pull out this board that I put in the bottom, because it's going to save me from having to climb back down there. And right now is why it becomes important that you put the little dirt on the sides and kicked it down with your foot to hold it in. Once you put this in there, this is the drain tile that goes at the bottom of the hole, and you cap it with rocks. I'll show you a picture of that in a second. right now this is the mixing table. I've got peat moss down and I've started putting the compost down, and I'm putting an equal part peat moss, compost, topsoil, and leaf mold. The leaf mold I'm having to gather out of the forest, and it's challenging. So anyway, I'll get that done, but that's what's happening. And then I use the plywood because of the flat surface and a square pointed shovel to mix it. Anyway, I'll show you that when I get more. And then I have accoutrements to add, which is rock phosphate, lime, and kelp meal that I add to it, and I'll show you that. It's 2 cups of 0460 rock phosphate, 4 cups of dolomite lime or lime, and then 1 cup of kelp meal. Anyway, well, half a cup of kelp meal. Okay, so we're out here in the woods and we're gathering leaf mold. Now, leaf mold is the layer underneath the leaves that have fallen. You can find it especially gathered at the bottom of big trees like this one. You scrape off the leaves, and right underneath is the leaf mold. It's almost like mulch itself. It's leaves and partially decomposed leaves and leaf mold. If you take a leaf rake and lightly leaf rake the floor, you can come back with a dirt rake and take the bottom, the leaves and the top layer of the dirt, and the leaves that come up almost look like dirt themselves, and that's the leaf mold. And I've got these right here to cut all these vines and stuff out of the way. Now that we have this thoroughly mixed, we're going to fill the hole, and we're going to have it roughly a foot deep after it's been walked down. So you're looking at about 10 cubic feet of material going into the hole. Okay, so we put in the layer mix, and then we put rock in. About baseball size rock is what you're going for, big rock, and then the gopher wire, 2 foot by 4 foot, and you wire it together and put it on top. So you got a rock bottom and the gopher wire right there to keep the gophers out. Next is topsoil. We've been gathering it, but we got this for $1 a bag at Tractor Supply, and it's just easier than pickaxing through the roots in the woods to get topsoil. So anyway, now I'm fixing to put this foot of topsoil in there. Okay, so we got a foot of topsoil in there. Now we're putting the tree on top of the rock. You can see the rock down there. It's pretty good sized. Some of it's partially buried. It's nice. And now we're putting the tree, putting the roots around the rock and putting the tree on there and filling it with our mix, which is going to make the tree very happy. Okay, now we're putting a tin can around the base of the tree, and what it is to keep the things that nibble on the bark from chewing on the base of the tree. And you'll notice that there's a graft right there. The can is going to help keep things off of the graft and form a barrier as we continue to put the rest of the stuff on it.
What size is the can?
Can is a gallon can off of pineapple juice, I believe.
That's been split in half.
Yeah, top and bottom's been cut off and it's been split in half to go around the tree. Okay, so we put the inch of compost on top. We were generous there. And now we're getting ready to backfill and pull out all our little boards and stuff and backfill it in, so we're ready to pull out our end caps. Okay, so now we're pulling these end caps out. And if you'll notice, we've got a 2x4 here on the outside and we've got a piece 3/4 ply on the other, and I've got them pulled together and screwed together. So this is what's giving us our grab for our bar that we've got levered on this stump. Okay, when you pull your ends out, it's going to be soft right there. Walk it down, pushing this down, pushing your dirt, your sand down, and then just come back and refill and walk it back down, and just until you get ready and you put your ring around it, but we'll get to that next. Okay, so you see we built the ring around it. We just put our 3 inches of leaf mulch on there, and you want to be conscious of this can. You don't want to fill it up. That's the can. It serves a couple different purposes, but it keeps you from getting a bunch of stuff around where the graft and stuff is. It's a barrier against pests, and it's just a good marker. Now I'm fixing to go get the rock mulch and finish it up. Okay, so we put these rods in the ground, brought them together like a teepee, my dear wife did, and tied the tree to it for stability. And we put the rock mulch down on top of the leaf mulch. And just to be fair for the gardener, this is not the first one he did today. It's the second.